It is always a privilege to be able to rise and talk about small business. Like many in Parliament, small businesses are the heart of the community. But in a community like mine, with regional and rural parts of our community, it's even more important. I was lucky enough to spend 15 years in business, working with small businesses prior to my time in politics. And one of the most important parts about why we need strong small businesses and family businesses in our community is because a strong family and small business means a strong community. I've been lucky enough to go to every sporting ground all across the electorate of Casey, before politics as a struggling cricketer and now as the member for Casey. And there's always one thing you notice at all of those grounds outside of that strong community spirit. It's all the signs around the side of the grounds. And I'll always say I've seen lots of IGA, independent supermarket signs. Deputy Speaker, you'd see lots of Foodland signs, I'm sure, in South Australia. I've yet to see a Woolworths or Coles sign sponsoring a local sports club, and that's why we need to support small business. But unfortunately, under this government, small business has been abandoned. Just one piece of legislation which I had the opportunity to speak on about 4 weeks ago, Deputy Speaker. One piece of legislation is all the Minister for Small Business has brought to this House. The best that business gets is the instant asset write-off, $20,000, down on what the Coalition offered during the last term of government. The Coalition have committed to extending it to $30,000 in perpetuity to give business that certainty. They talk about the rebate at a time when bills for small business and medium-sized businesses are going up tens and tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're giving $370 back, and that's going to solve the problem. But I do want to talk about the impact, the real-world impact of this. We can sit here and debate this, and member after member from those opposite, I know they have to do it, but they run through the talking points given to them by the Treasurer. But I had the privilege and the honour just before this to hear the member for Braddon speak. And the member for Braddon gave his valedictory speech just now in the House, and he spoke about the real Australians. And the real Australians all across the country just want us to fix their problems. And I want to share an email and the correspondence I had from a small business owner in my community just to understand the pain that they are going through. And as she said to me, in 23-24 have been extremely difficult years for my small business. 23 saw incredible cost increases on raw materials and packaging, which we could not stem with retail price increases, resulting in a loss for the business. In 2024, we experienced a 30% decline in sales stemming from our customers' nervousness in stocking shelves in this current economy. And while we could increase some prices, cut back on purchases and reduce labour hours to manufacture less, then slash any other unnecessary spending, mostly marketing and advertising, the unjustified increase on expenses outside of our control has resulted in another loss. We received increases as follows: work cover 5.7%, even though wages are down; merchant fees 6.5% up; interest on business loans up 16.1%; electricity, gas and water up 35%; registration and insurance up 11.6%; freight up 3.8%. We are clawing back as best we can in this current financial year, but if we do not see any relief on interest rates or electricity in the very near future, I'll be joining the 100,000-plus businesses that have already fallen into receivership. This story is one of hundreds I could share across my community. But at the same time that my community is feeling this pain, we have the Treasurer of Australia standing in the House last week giving his economic statement update and saying success. We're on track for a soft landing. He's delivered brilliant numbers for the Australian people. How lucky are the Australian people? Day after day we have to hear the Prime Minister of this country, the Treasurer of this country, stand at the dispatch box in the House and tell Australians how lucky they are, that they've never had it better, that inflation's down even though it's artificial. And I'll take the interjections because those opposite don't like hearing the truth. The real Australians are struggling while those opposite interject because they don't like hearing the truth. that the Prime Minister and the Treasurer of this country were distracted for 18 months. They have no solutions to the troubles the Australian people face, so I'll take the interjection because they do not like to hear the truth about the challenges of the Australian people.
Authorised by Aaron Violi, Liberal Party, Lilydale.